And so the whole point is you do something that you enjoy. That means that you're giving something that gives you a little bit of pleasure, which, something really sweet does because of our evolution. Something that gives you a little bit of euphoria, like alcohol, makes you feel good. But you do it with people and you make a memory, in which case you're almost certainly doing, unless all your friends are drunks, which is bad, you can get into an unhealthy community, that you're doing it in a pretty moderate way. And then it's life enhancing, despite the fact that it's a poison. And you can use a little bit of poison in a productive way, but it has to be about enjoyment, never about pleasure, per se.
Such an interesting distinction.
Totally. And it took, man, I'm 59. It took me this long. This is information that I wish I had been able to use when I was in my 20s. It would have saved me a lot of grief. It really would have, because all the time that I wasted, with drinking, with just unproductive activity, and, the way that I missed opportunities to love and be loved and to have a happier life. This is really, really news that people can use.
And this is probably one of the stronger arguments against evolution being in favor of happiness. It's clear that evolution is in favor of pleasure.
Yeah.
Pleasure might be one of the most potent fuels that drives the engine of evolution, at least when it comes to reproduction. But certainly other aspects of evolution as well.
You're exactly right.
But enjoyment is a higher order process, and I guess would not necessarily have the same evolutionary drive. Although I suppose that being with people obviously also has a strong evolutionary bent, if for no other reason than we couldn't have survived alone, even through the industrialization of agriculture.
No, absolutely right. The problem is that the maladaptation that comes with technological progress is that you can strip off the component of enjoyment that is pleasure and then supercharge it in the lab. That's the problem. The internet makes it possible to do that. Chemistry makes it easy to do that. There are all kinds of ways that we strip out that component of enjoyment, so it's no longer part of the evolved societies that would have been more traditional.
So do you think that that's a decent litmus test, Arthur, where the person who's listening to this who loves to smoke says, guys, I enjoy smoking. Like, I really enjoy it.
Right.
And you would push back on that and say, no, you find pleasure in smoking, and you find just as much pleasure if you're sitting by yourself doing it, puffing away, getting the physiologic high of the tobacco, but you're not forming new memories. You're not sharing in this with someone else.
That's right. My wife smokes 2 times a year when she's with her sister in Barcelona. She loves her sister. Her sister smokes only after meals, only with people, maybe once or twice a day, which is, by the way, too much. I mean, there's conflicting evidence on that, but it's suffice it to say that, any amount of tobacco and any amount of smoke in your lungs is not good for you. My wife smokes twice a year because she's with her sister. My wife's not a smoker. I used to be a smoker. I don't touch it. I don't dare touch it. Not even twice a year is the way that works out. Because for me, it's like I got the monkey on my back immediately. And I don't want that thing to come back, because I so thoroughly stripped the pleasure from tobacco off from the enjoyment of communally smoking that I can't handle it anymore. Part of that is my mad scientist. Part of that is get back to what we talked about earlier in the conversation.
Okay. So what is satisfaction then?
Again, people are like, wow, enjoyment's complicated. And it's all complicated. That's why that's why the knowledge is so critically important. That's why happiness is a serious business. Satisfaction is the joy after struggle. That's what satisfaction really is. You struggled for it, you worked for it, you got it, it feels awesome. If my students cheat to get an A on my exam, there's no satisfaction.